yet?
She's so tall. Oh.
Why would Templars break away from the Chantry?
The Order believes the Chantry no longer supports their efforts. Not to the extent they should.
I'd like to know more about the Templars.
If you need insight into what the Order is doing now, I'm afraid I can't offer more than you already know. Anything else, I will answer as best I can.
Why did you join the Order?
I kind of want to skip this. Like, do you guys want me to skip this? Like, I don't always want to hear all the, like, the conversations. Like, these kind of conversations, because they're not as interesting as the cutscenes, but...
They agreed to send me for training. I was 13.
Itchy.
13.
My face is itchy. I'm kind of hungry. I'm gonna grab... So I got some garlic sticks from work because one of my coworkers who was the new trainees, he put garlic sauce on some sticks that were not supposed to, some breadsticks that weren't supposed to have sauce on them. So free food, and I took whatever was left home. So I'm like, it's mine now.
Did you miss them?
But there were many my age who felt the same. We learned to look out for one another.
Now I have sticks. Yummy sticks. I don't really care so much for the sauce, but like I'll keep the sauce because it like.
Do the Templars do anything besides hunt?
You can use it, but.
Templars protect against the dangers of magic. Before the Order left the Chantry, that meant serving in a circle. They were also tasked with tracking apostates or fighting demons inevitably summoned by the weak or malicious.
What do you think of mages? Are they all a threat?
I've seen the suffering magic can inflict. I've treated mages with distrust because of it, at times without cause. That was unworthy of me. I will try not to do so. Not that I want mages moving through our base completely unchecked. We need safeguards in place to protect people, including mages, from possession of the beast.
Excuse me a moment. I was putting water in my mouth.
You've lived in the circle. What was a typical day for a Templar there?
Typical. The last time I was in a circle was right before it fell apart. Nothing was typical.
Before that, then?
Certain rituals require a full guard. A mage's heralding, for instance. I've attended a few. Most of the time, you merely maintain a presence, on patrol or in the circle, ready to respond if needed. Mages pretend to ignore that presence, but they're watching you just as closely.
Do Templars and mages never speak to each other?
Some do, but Templars are supposed to maintain a certain distance from their charges. If a mage is possessed or uses blood magic, you must act quickly, without hesitation. Your judgment cannot be clouded. Of course, ignoring one another does nothing to foster understanding.
What does Templar training involve?
There is weapon and combat training. Even without their abilities, Templars are among the best warriors in Thedas. Initiates must also memorize portions of the Chant of Light, study history, and improve their mental focus.
Did you enjoy your training?
To learn everything. If I was giving my life to this, I would be the best Templar I could.
You were a model student.
I wanted to be. I wasn't always successful. Watching a candle burn down while reciting the chant of transfiguration wasn't the most exciting task. I admit, my mind sometimes wandered.
Do Templars take vows? I swear to the Maker to watch all the mages. That sort of thing.
There's a vigil first. You're meant to be at peace during that time, but your life is about to change. When it's over, you'll give yourself to a life of service. That's when you're given a filter, your first draft of lyrium. Power. As Templars, we are not to seek wealth or acknowledgement. Our lives belong to the Maker and the path we have chosen.
That's all I wanted to know. Thank you.
I'm sure you have other matters.
So I'm sitting here, And think about the fact that, I'm gonna go quickly to the table before I go back to talk to Iron Bull, just to see if I need to start that operation or not. Because that way I can be having the conversations while the operation is ongoing. Because I don't think it takes like super long. But
That mercenary band that joined the Inquisition. The Bull's Chargers? Respectful they are. Everyone's respectful around us. Never know when they might need their guts shoved back in.
I mean, that's fair.
For she who trusts in the Maker, fire. I don't know if Apothecary Adon can get you that.
We'll go in here, see if that farmland security has been. Oh no, I pressed the wrong button. Ah! Ah! It's like that meme. Ah! Do, 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 do. I can't tell you the song. I played it earlier today, but
What have your ears heard, Leliana? Anything new we don't already know about? No, nothing.
I'll have him do it.
Let's see what we have.
So it's 38 minutes. We'll have her do this one. I'm hoping, I don't know if I'll get it done. Let's see, some of our kith came back, so maybe you're not dead. Just kept swearing 2 hours and respect humans, and they punched and then punched a, is that a, okay, guard, so you're probably lucky you weren't there. You still haven't paid, you still haven't paid. There are a lot of people wearing eyeball armor. No. Maybe you'll watch for that. Interesting. Wait, did I already recruit? Did I recruit Iron, like, Blackwall already? What? I thought I didn't. I'll have to check.
Greetings, Herald of Andraste. How fares your quest to seal the breach?
I'm doing everything within my power.
A task, such as closing the breach, is a heavy burden. I hope you do not carry it alone. We remember Andraste, but Andraste did not carry the Chant of Light alone. She had generals, advisors, even her husband for a time. Do everything within your power, but remember those who would help you.
You keep talking as though I'm the equal of Andraste. Do you know how unnerving that is?
I can only imagine. But we are all given to our purpose under the Maker. A sword does not ask to be forged. And frankly, if such a comparison gives you pause, I do not see that as a bad thing. In any case, I pray this Inquisition proves less brutal than its predecessor.
Do you know who the Grand Clerics will choose as the next Divine?
So,
It is a difficult decision. All the obvious
I find it
candidates
interesting
perished with Divine Justinia
that,
and
like, when I'm playing this
Grand
game,
Clerics are terrified of the Inquisition.
I usually choose make my characters religious.
Whoever is chosen needs
At least they
the
don't follow
Inquisition's
Andraste.
support. No one else seems
Um,
likely to seal the breach.
I mostly do elves, so like I personally don't see most elves as following Andraste. My current elf,
Many have lost
Athari,
homes or
no,
loved
not Atharian.
ones. I doubt many will sleep well
My
until
elf
you have sealed the
Zalathos.
breach.
I think he's both an Andrastian, and he also believes in his own elven gods. I've had one character one elf who like didn't believe in elven gods or the like she knew of them, of course, because she grew up in that, but she's like, I don't really believe in things I don't see evidence of.
Farmers have fled their fields.
Or like, and she's like, for all we know, they could be they may not even be gods. So she's just like, I don't really care as long as I can do my magic, and learn magics. And then I think I've had a few other characters who are somewhat religious, and others who like don't care at all. Asala is one of the ones that she's like, I don't really care. I'm not Andrastian. I don't follow the ways.
Many simply wish the familiar comfort of the chant of light. It is little enough work to offer some comfort to those in pain.
I think I had one character, a human, my only human character that I've ever made in this game.
Do you have information on people elsewhere?
But
the refugees in the hinterlands are desperate. Without help, starvation or war will claim many lives. Villagers in Crestwood are besieged by their own dead.
But she was the
sent word begging for assistance. People are vanishing in the hills of Emprise de Lyon. It may be demons or something worse, but they are terrified. More than that I cannot say. It is a chaotic time for all in Olay and Ferelden.
Farewell.
Let's see.
Until next time.
Oh yeah, my human that I made, she was very like uber Andrastian. She was kind of against mages. I was trying to play her as someone who didn't really care, but I ended up having her somewhat care. Like, I personally somewhat cared about what my companions thought about her, so I didn't really get the conversations where a lot of them left. Although maybe another time I will try, but if I do it, I'll need to do it on stream, and I will need you guys to help me stay on track and keep my character from being nice, because I'm like, I can't be mean, it makes me sad.
Yes. Good.
What may I do for you?
How do you and Leliana know each other?
We moved through similar circles in Norlay. I believe we actually met in Val Royal. Leliana was quite an accomplished player of the game by then.
What exactly do you mean when you say the game?
Forgive me. The game refers to the slow duels of influence among the noble and powerful of Orlais. It's a rather light-hearted name for the matter, but Orlesians are fond of playful touches.
What business are the Montiliers in exactly?
We began as merchants. My ancestors founded the first trade routes to Rivain. We once sent entire fleets across the waking sea.
But not anymore.
No. These days, our vessels are a touch more...
So, a fun fact, Orlais, the country in this, or one of the countries in this game,
What did you do
in this
before
series,
coming
is based off of France and the French culture in like 18th century.
I'm also first in line to become the head of House Montilier.
The characters, obviously, if you can tell, they have like that French accent, and obviously Olay. So like, a thing with the French language is they drop some of the letters in the end. AIS makes an A sound sometimes, I think. Let's see. Yeah, it makes an A sound. So the I like accents the A, but they drop the S. For example,
Let's speak later.
I didn't mean to push that. No!
What may I do for you?
Whatever.
Let's speak later.
Another time.
So I'm taking a French class right now, and we just did like future we just did like future conversation. What was the term?
I wanted to ask you about the Circle of Magi.
Of course. What do you wish to know?
If the Circle disbanded, how can you still belong to it?
What was the... Okay, let's see.
And an idea cannot be dissolved. Many of the first enchanters voted for rebellion, caring little that anything short of a unanimous decision would pit mage against mage. Rather than dissolving it, Grand Enchanter Fiona's vote split the circle in two. The rebels follow her, the loyalists follow me.
Ba-dum-bum. Oh yeah, it was I think I just did. No, I didn't just do this. It was. Wait, no, we haven't done chapter 9. It was chapter 8. Conditional sentences or conditional words, and like conditional words. Like I think it was aller. No. Etre. No, etre sire. Aller, which is spelled A-L-L-E-R in its regular form. When you put it in the conditional, present conditional, it goes to ear. You do I-R-I-A-S, which makes it go ire. For the, when you're addressing people with, when you're saying, like, let's see, I can't remember what aller means. Go. So, I go to work. Let's see. Let me see if I can figure out how to remember how to do the sentences. Sorry, I'm kind of scatterbrained.
What was it like to live in a circle?
My dear, I cannot tell you. Every person within each... Some people suffer. The same is true of people everywhere, in all circumstances, whether they are mages or not.
I skipped over all of our conversation. Whatever. Okay, let's see.
Circle, my dear. It was an edifice devoted to knowledge and refinement. And there is comfort to be had, you know, in the company of fellow mages. Those born without magic will never truly understand us.
Or I would go to work. J'irai travailler. I go to work.
You must have been under constant supervision,
Or something like that. I'm not 100% sure, but like that seems right.
My dear, I have a suite in the palace and a wing at my dear Duke Bastien's estate. I've never been forced to live anywhere. Most circles allowed mages.
Look at me just casually trying to teach people French, even though I'm still struggling myself.
All that was required was permission from the first enchanter. Some circles were harsher in their restrictions. Kirkwall was the worst, but it was the exception. Most were quite permissive, perhaps too permissive in retrospect.
How did we come to this state with the circles in revolt?
A failure of perspective that infected circle leadership. Mages lived solely in a world of Templars and mages. They could not even imagine what was beyond the tower walls. Kirkwall gave the world a reason to remember its fear of magic. A mage killed hundreds with a snap of their fingers. Across Thedas, a new tangible fear of magic grew. Commoners and nobles alike called out to the Chantry for protection. But the malcontents in the towers thought nothing of this. They cared only for themselves and for their anger at the new Templar restrictions. When a mage attempted to assassinate Divine Justinia, again, the mages protested the investigation. The leadership chose to vote on independence based on the intolerable conditions imposed by the Templars, sparing no thought to the fact that magic was more feared in the aftermath of these attacks than it had been since Tevinter's day. So long as they had their freedom, they could care little for riots, angry mobs, or about pitting mages against each other.
Are you familiar with Grand Enchanter Fiona?
We've met. Before her horrendously ill-timed and selfish vote for independence, I thought her adequate at her job. In her dotage, she could not handle looking after the well-being of so many people. We would have done better to replace her years ago, to let her spend time gardening.
Did they have cause to rebel?
Yeah, Viviana's a little intense. She's a little, like, mean, but I can understand some of the stuff where she's coming from. I feel like Asala has a hard time because she didn't grow up in a circle. And she's like, I grew up outside of a circle. I don't have a problem with, like, you know, not as long as people know how to control themselves, they shouldn't have to be in tower. But personally, I think it's good for them to have a safe place where they can learn magic. If you can still train someone in a place that's not like if you can still train someone to learn how to use their magic in an area that's not as safe, but you don't hurt any other people, that's also good. Although it's better to do it in a place where it's, you know, there's more people, and or it's where a place where it's supposed to be like a magic school. I think that's why a lot of games have magic schools, because it helps the students learn how to use their powers without hurting people.
Blessed are the peacekeepers, the champions of the just. Blessed are the righteous, the lights in the shadow. In their blood, the Maker's will is written. Is that what you want from us? Blood. To die so that your will is done? Is death your only blessing? You speak for Andraste, no? What does the Maker's prophet have to say about all of this? What's his game?
I speak for no one but myself, and I have no answers for you.
You probably don't even worship the Maker. Lucky. He asks a lot. The Chantry teaches that the Maker abandoned us. He demands repentance for our sins. He demands it all. Our lives, our deaths. Justinia gave him everything she had, and he let her die.
I'm sorry. Her death has clearly hit you hard.
Not just me. All of us. She was the divine. She led the faithful. She was the heart. If the Maker doesn't intervene to save the best of his servants, what good is he? I used to believe I was chosen, just as some say you are. I thought I was fulfilling his purpose for me, working with the divine, helping people. But now she's dead. It was all for nothing. Serving the Maker meant nothing.
Maybe you have another purpose. I could help you find it.
No, this is my burden. I regret that I even let you see me like this. It was a moment of weakness. It won't happen again. Come. To work, then. We will speak later.
Okay, I'm thinking I'm gonna leave it for now.
Chasing the Lord Seeker, I hear. Anyone who thinks they need Lord in front of the name, that's bad. Bet he's got a portrait taller than he is. That's your first clue to a total arse. Fact.
Is the Inquisition what you thought it would be?
Calling an Inquisition is a bit much, isn't it? lot even know what they're chasing? Fair question for me as well, I suppose. Everybody following a rumor. At least I'm used to that.
What do you think about the people who have gathered?
Which? The ones who do things or the ones who give orders?
What about Solus?
Solus? His head's crammed up 1,000 years ago.
Anything to say about Varric?
Varric? Too clever. Always saying something, but never saying it straight.
Thoughts about Cassandra?
Not as buttoned up as she plays, right? Tough edge. I'd stand behind her in front of anything.
What do you think about our spymaster, ambassador, and commander?
Liliana is pretty in places. Swear I've seen her too. Or heard she used to play. But that'd be mad. Now Josephine, she's as good at humbling her kind as I am. Just with less mess. Knows her business, if you have to have it. And Cullen, I suppose if you want a jackboot, you get a big one so you can grow into it. Nice hair.
What's your opinion of Vivienne?
She's a bitch, but she knows. She better.
Thoughts on Iron Bull?
It makes me wonder about things. He's got nothing on you, but that Kuhn stuff, I don't know.
Any thoughts about Warden Blackwall?
He's too good, right? Like to see him out of that uniform. Not like that.
We'll talk later.
Good, right? I'll be here.
As I explored the Fade, I felt the presence of an intriguing artifact in the hinterlands. If you are willing, I would like to locate it. I have marked its location as best I could determine.
We'll talk later.
Goodbye. At least we've got Inquisition troops out of Redcliffe now, giving those people some room.
Need something?
Can I ask you something, Varric?
You want to talk about me? I'm flattered. Also inclined toward extravagant lies.
Thanks, Varric.
No problem.
I think I exhausted all this conversation.
And I shall embrace you in my arms.
I gotta go talk to Blackwell.
What can I do for you?
I'd like to know more about your work with the Ben Hasrath.
Ben Hasrath is actually a general term. You've got the secret police who investigate problems inside our territory. You've got the re-educators who take people with problems and fix their minds. Or make them disappear. And then you've got the spies.
How do the re-educators work?
I only know the basics. Wasn't my area. That said, keep a man awake long enough. Ask the right questions, give the right potions, and you can get him to say anything. You don't need blood magic or demons to change someone's mind. We're a lot more fragile than we'd like to believe.
My parents told me stories about what the re-educators did.
Yes, you were lucky your parents got away. The weak minds get bent into the right shape. Strong minds like yours, they'd have given you a poison called Kamek. You'd have been a polite, happy laborer for the rest of your life. And you'd have had a handler to help you eat and make sure you didn't crap your pants.
And you're a spy.
Close. I am now, I suppose. But that's not how I started. They sent me to Saharan because they needed someone who could fight and hunt down problems. That whole island was a sack of cats. Incursions from Tevinter, Tal-Vashath, and native rebels fighting both sides. And in the middle, me, trying to wrangle the rebels and restore order.
I can't imagine that was easy.
Nope. I hunted down a lot of rebels. Lost a lot of friends to the Vince, or the Fog Warriors, or the Talvashar. One day I woke up and couldn't think of a damned reason to keep doing my job. Turned myself into the re-educators.
Not many people would have the courage to do that.
I thought about letting some rebel kill me, but I couldn't give any of those bastards the satisfaction. The Ben Hasrath ordered me to go to Orlais, ostensibly as a Talvashar, and work undercover. That's how I ended up here.
I'm glad you're here, Bull.
Me too.
If you ever need to talk more about all this, let me know.
Nah, it was a long time ago. Thanks, though.
So I was sitting here thinking about, I wonder what would happen if, Iron Bull and Fenris from, Dragon Age 2 ever had a conversation, because Fenris was Tevinter, or was raised in Tevinter, and then he stayed with the Fog Warriors for a while, before he escaped his master.
There are few here who know what it means to be Kunari.
You're not Kunari. You're Talvashar. World of difference.
I still grew up looking like this in a world of mostly humans.
Yeah. Fair enough. You didn't turn into a murdering bandit, so I guess we're fine. You want to know anything about the Kunari? Since we're talking about them.
What's your problem with Talvashar?
As Ben Hasrath, my job back home was keeping the peace, helping people live by the Qun. Talvashar turned their back on all that, decided they'd rather live like savages. The Qun is not perfect, but at least there's some sense to it.
My parents weren't like that. They could live peacefully and raise me as well as any human parents could.
Well, good. They aren't the kind of Talvashar I've got a problem with, then. Look, if you're worried I'm going to attack you, don't be. I had a lifetime of fighting Talvashar. You're not the kind I hate.
The word Kunari, does it mean what we are, the race? Or is it anyone who follows the Qun?
Depends on who you ask. Are you Kunari or Talvashar? The humans and elves who follow the Qun are the Vidathari. The Kunari who break away from the Qun are Talvashar, deserters.
What about Kunari who existed before the Qun?
The people we came from. They're called the Kossith, but we don't use that word for the race. We came south to Thedas because the Kossith were... I don't know. We had to leave. The stories aren't clear. But I don't expect they look much like us. Whatever they are.
How do the Kunari rule themselves?
It's pretty simple. We've got the matriarchy, the priesthood, and the military. The priesthood figures out how Kunari should live in theory. The matriarchy makes it work in practice. And the military keeps the Kunari safe from outside threats.
Does it actually work like that? Is there much infighting?
Not like you're thinking of. People disagree, yeah, but the priests are there to solve disagreements. Here in Orlais, politicking comes from people putting their own gain ahead of the gains of society. If you do that among the Kunari, the Ben Hasrath set you straight, or kill you.
I've heard there's no marriage among the Kunari.
Yeah, that's true. Kunari love our friends like anyone does, but we don't have sex with them.
Kunari don't have sex?
Oh, we definitely have sex. They're Tamasrans who pop your cork whenever you need it.
Seriously?
Yes. It's not a big deal like it is here. It's like, I don't know, going to see a healer. Sometimes it's this long, involved thing. It takes all day, leaves you walking funny. Other times you're in and out in 5 minutes. Thank you. See you next week.
So, you've never really made love? Connected with someone in both body and soul?
I don't know. One time they used this thing called the Sato Nerapan. It's a leather-wrapped rod on a harness. That wasn't really my soul. Also, there were more than 2 people.
Oh, I don't even know that, Bull.
How's everyday life different for Kunari?
Oh my gosh.
Depends on
I
your
didn't realize
job, I
his...
guess. Some are just about the same. A baker in Valroyo gets up, gets dressed, and starts work. A baker in Parvolan does the same thing. They don't care about the Empire or the Cube. Mostly they worry about breaking eggs and hope the dough rises right.
It can't be exactly the same. The Kunari have no personal freedoms.
How many personal freedoms do you figure that baker in Valroyo has? Life isn't about freedom. The baker in Parvolan wonders if she'll be given enough eggs to do her work. Will they come on time? Will the kitchen workers get her bread while it's fresh, or will they come late and blame her because it's stale? Same crap in Valroyo. People are just people.
What's it like growing up under the Kun?
The Tomasrans raise us in these units of kids all our own age. They're like teachers or chantry sisters. They also help figure out what jobs we should do. They had me pegged for military work early on. When they learned I could hit stuff and lie, they started training me for the Ben Hasra.
That must have been a good day for you.
Yes, it's like being a block of stone with a sculptor working on you. One day, the last of the crap gets knocked off, and you can see your real shape. What you're supposed to be. That's a good day.
Do you ever think about what would happen if the Kunari conquered Orlais or Ferelden?
Some folks, like Cassandra or Cullen, would do fine if they didn't die fighting. Those two love rules. But the mages... Can you imagine Solus trying his fade dreaming under the Cune? Or Vivian doing her political bullshit? Both Sarah and Varric would mouth off until they ended up re-educated, drugged until their minds broke. So, to answer your question, no, I don't think about it much at all.
See you later, Bull.
See ya.
Travel safely.
Oh, there's Iron Bull. I was like, where'd he go? He's here. I don't mean to jump. I want to talk to you.
Maker, look at it. So much easier to ignore when it's far away. And to actually walk out of it. To be that close.
If I hadn't been saved by the Inquisition soldiers, I don't know what would have happened.
Inquisition soldiers? That's not what I've heard. I have to admit, I thought you'd be...
Human?
Yes.
That's not surprising. Humans are everywhere. It's expected.
It was a foolish thought. Should have known better than to say anything. It's what you do and how you do it that's important. Just one question then. How do you think you fit in with all this?
I just want to help stop the war. Try to put things back in order.
A worthy goal, one I'm happy to support. For me, I'll be satisfied so long as we find the bastards that killed the Divine. They owe us some answers.
Don't walk away from me.
I've heard rumors of abandoned warden camps all over these parts. If we have time, I'd like to take a look. See if there's anything we can salvage.
Let's talk about the Grey Wardens. You must know a lot about them.
Ah, the Wardens. I'm afraid we're less exciting than we seem.
The Blight's been over for 10 years. What do Wardens do when the world's not ending?
There are still Darkspawn. Just because we kill so many in Ferelden doesn't mean they're gone. And the world is not so peaceful that there's no use for good men with swords. Sometimes you have to figure out for yourself what the pledge to protect others really means. It's not always about just archdemons and blights.
Where were you during the Blight?
I was in Ferelden, on my own like always. Quietly killed my fair share of Darkspawn too.
You haven't had contact with other Wardens for a while. Why were you on your own?
It's what I've always done. Recruitment only requires one man. Besides, I've always been a loner. Works best for everyone that way.
So you have no idea where the rest of the Wardens are?
Do you find that odd? The Blight is over. We don't need an organized force.
And orders don't change much from day to day. For the last 1,000 years or so, it's been just find Darkspawn, kill them, repeat as necessary.
Let's continue this at another time.
As you wish. I'll be here if you need.